Hey everybody, welcome back to Travel with Wes. And today I'm taking you along on what might just be one of Iceland's lesser known hiking experiences, Mulagljufur Canyon. It's remote, it's rugged, it's ridiculously beautiful. And somehow it's still flying under the radar for most travelers visiting Iceland. If you're into mossy cliffs, towering waterfalls, and trails that make you feel like you've stumbled right into a Game of Thrones scene, then you'll want to stick around for this one as I show you everything you'll need to know before hiking Mulagljufur Canyon. Located along Iceland's south coast, Mulagljufur Canyon is located just beyond Skaftafell, which is also home to a great campsite if you're exploring by campervan like I'd recommend. Once you turn off of Ring Road, the road turns to gravel and it's a bumpy ride out to the parking lot. Even though this isn't a paved road, you should be fine reaching the trailhead without four-wheel drive. As a tease, you can actually see the furthest waterfall and mountain peak from the canyon off in the distance. It's a little deceiving, however, as it makes our final destination appear closer than it seems. The hike itself is about 3.5 miles in length and will take most travelers just under 2 hours to complete. Be sure to budget plenty of extra time beyond that for taking in the views along the way. The trail starts out relatively flat as you work past the parking lot towards the canyon. As you hike, you'll start to see views of one of Vatnajökull's many glacier tongues in the distance. We won't get up super close with any glacier tongues on this hike, but if you want advice on where to go for that, I'd suggest hitting Skaftafell Glacier, which can easily be reached from the Skaftafell campsite, or nearby Jökull, which is probably my favorite spot of them all. Either option will get you up close with glacier views without much hiking or walking required. Okay, now it's back to the canyon hike. After you pass the glacier tongue views, you'll encounter some steep section of trail that leads down into a creek. If you're careful stepping across the stone, you should be able to get across without really getting your feet wet. After the creek crossing, the trail will start to gain in elevation more quickly. This hike has nearly 1,200 feet of elevation gain for a relatively short distance, which is why I categorize it as a moderate difficulty hike. It's not fun on the way up, but just remember that pretty much the entire hike back will be downhill. As you work your way up the hill, you'll start to catch views of Hangandifoss waterfall, one of the most iconic spots of this hike. It's a beautiful view and the water free falls over 400 feet down into the canyon. As you continue hiking up towards some of the better viewpoints, be sure to keep off the moss and stay on the marked trail. It does start to get narrow at times and eventually the best viewpoints drop straight down into the canyon. Make sure you watch your step. But for your effort, you'll be rewarded with some of my favorite views in all of Iceland. This is by far the best canyon hike that I've done here. As you look down into the canyon, don't be surprised if you see hundreds of birds floating between the moss-covered canyon walls. The trail continues on towards Mulafoss, which sits deeper in the canyon, and you can see where the water cascades down to different levels. I think the best views are near Hangandifoss, but you can continue hiking on as far as you'd like. Not only is this a great hike, but it's one that should be within most visitors' skill sets. There's nothing technical about it, and for how short it is, the payoffs at the end are extraordinary. This whole stretch along Iceland's south coast is exceptionally beautiful, and I already mentioned Skaftafell and Jökull glaciers earlier in this video. But if you're looking for a couple more things nearby to pair with this activity, definitely don't miss out on Jokulsarlon, Glacier Lagoon, and Diamond Beach. Those are just a short drive up the road. I actually had hoped to kayak here during my last visit, but due to extremely strong winds, that unfortunately was not in the cards. Another worthwhile glacier tongue stop nearby is Jökull Bílastæði. The name of this place is impossible to pronounce, and the glacier views will leave you absolutely speechless. There are also some really cool historical artifacts near the parking lot, which are worth checking out. Keep an eye out for my interactive Iceland map and downloadable itinerary if you're planning a trip to Iceland yourself, or consider joining me on one of my group trips that I lead around the world. There are links to those and other helpful Iceland trip planning resources in the video description below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Travel with Wes for more helpful travel videos just like this. Until next time, safe travels and thanks for watching.